Sierra has all the best active and outdoor brands you need. From athletic stuff, like a full court pickup game, swish, to athlete-ish stuff, like a half-mile stroll. Get those steps in. And for morning hikes up the mountain trail, good pace. To nighttime ghost stories from the camping chair. What a twist. Whatever level of active, Sierra loves it all. Head to Sierra or Sierra.com for the brands you want at the prices that let you do it all. From athletic to athlete-ish, Sierra's got it.
The new Chicken Bacon Ranch Street Chalupa is at Taco Bell. You can't get just one. Okay, so that's not like some marketing hyperbole. You literally can't get just one. They come in twos. So like, if you want just one, you're going to need to find a friend who loves slow roasted chicken, bacon, and avocado ranch sauce. Or a friend of a friend, or have an awkward conversation with a complete stranger to see if they're obsessed with chicken, bacon, and avocado ranch. Or you could just like eat them both because you're obsessed with slow roasted chicken, bacon. Okay, you get the idea. The new Chicken Bacon Ranch Street Chalupa is at Taco Bell. At participating Taco Bell U.S. locations for a limited time while supplies last.
We're here because your heightened awareness deserves heightened entertainment. The Last Show with David Cooper.
Have you ever gotten this relationship advice? You need fireworks. You need new experiences, new restaurants, new positions, new passport stamps. Well, that might not be right for everyone. The best date night might depend less on spicing things up and more on your partner's attachment style. And we'll get to what that is in just a moment. But I'm here with someone who's done research in this area. Her name is Amy Muse. She's a psychology professor at York University. Amy, welcome to the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
So the attachment styles, this is sort of how you're wired to form relationships, but do you want to give us a quick overview before we get into how they affect what your best date night might be?
Yeah, exactly. So these are how we kind of think about emotional connection and intimacy in relationships. And we think about like two types of attachment insecurity. So one is attachment avoidance. So this would be someone who's uncomfortable with too much closeness, who really values...
Me. Sorry, keep going.
This is already digging for you?
It is.
Value independence, and like intimacy in your relationship can sometimes feel smothering. So that's the attachment avoidance. And then another type of insecurity is the attachment anxiety. So this is more of a fear of abandonment, really wanting reassurance from a partner and being worried about being rejected from a partner, having your partner not be there for you. And both of these things, as you might imagine, can be linked with lower overall relationship satisfaction. And these are not uncommon. About 50% of the population would be at least somewhat high on one or both of these things.
At the risk of derailing / soliciting free psychology advice, if I'm avoidant and my girlfriend is attachment anxious, will it work? Can it work between two people like that?
Yeah, sure. I mean, that's not an uncommon pairing, right? Because some of the ways that you might find intimacy smothering would sort of be exactly what an anxious person, might want, right? They might want sort of more intimacy. So it kind of confirms for you that, relationships maybe involve a lot of intimacy that you're not totally comfortable with. And then for her, it might kind of confirm that, partners aren't always available for all the types of intimacy that you might want. But in this study, we sort of try to talk about activities that you can do together that relate to your attachment styles and might be most helpful for your satisfaction. And so,
good.
Yes, exactly. And in a relationship where there might be different attachment styles, it might just be varying these activities to sort of focus on one partner's emotional needs at one time and the other's at another time.
Which is what we do. Okay, enough about me. We are told, though, like the best relationship advice generally is kind of like try new things, right?
Yes.
Talk to me about when that doesn't work.
Yeah. So what we found is that both trying new things and doing things that are more like familiar and comfy, they're both good for relationships. So overall, we see positive effects on relationship satisfaction. So neither of these things are bad. But what we found is that they might be particularly beneficial depending on the person's attachment style. So for people who are more avoidant, like we just talked about, these novel and exciting activities are actually particularly beneficial for them. So this would be doing new things, trying something or learning something together, going somewhere unfamiliar, something that maybe feels like a little bit expanding or out of your comfort zone. And it seems like the reason for this is it's kind of like a side door intimacy, right? It's not an overly intimate, you're not really digging deep into these vulnerable feelings. It's something that feels more fun, rather than heavy. So this seems to be something that kind of buffers the lower relationship satisfaction that's more typical for people who are avoidantly attached.
Got it. So if I am an avoidant, side note I am, like fun new experiences, that common wisdom is true. What happens if I have an anxious attachment style? What kind of activities would sort of boost intimacy? What would be really great to do with my partner?
Yeah, it's actually the opposite pattern. So it was more of these familiar and comfortable experiences that were particularly beneficial for relationship satisfaction. And so this could be, because anxious folks tend to fear that their partner won't be there for them, it's possible that these familiar, calming, routine experiences actually help to kind of quell some of those concerns. So yeah, it is those like watching your favorite TV show, maybe cooking like your favorite meal together, spending those like a comfortable night in. That tended to be particularly beneficial for those who were more anxiously attached.
But it's not like harmful or bad for them to also try new things. It's just a little bit added benefit if they do that comfortable. Okay, got it. So it's not like trying new things is terrible wisdom for someone who's an anxious, avoidant attachment style.
It seems to be good overall for everybody. It's just that what we found is that these activities are particularly beneficial depending on the attachment style. So that's an important point.
So how can like a layperson kind of maximize their intimate experiences with their partner based on your research? Should they take a quiz and find out what their attachment style is, and then what sort of activities should they do?
Yeah, I think some of the things that I'm describing here, just like what you're doing, if it sort of sounds like you or thinking about in that moment what your emotional needs might be, you could try to tailor your activities and the activities with your partner to those kinds of experiences. So importantly, we had both partners. We did a study. There's about 390 couples across these 3 studies that we ran. And we had both partners. So we could also see what it was like. So when you're doing something that meets your avoidant attachment style, what's it like for your partner? Well, the good news is that they also felt more satisfied. And same with the reverse, right? So even though it's not necessarily matching your attachment style, when you're doing an activity that matches your partner's, there's still benefits for both people. So it seems like there's benefits for the couple as a whole.
And it sounds like there's hope for couples who have different attachment styles, like me.
Yeah, exactly. And just this idea that you could maybe vary this, right, to meet both of your needs over time.
How much of a sort of boost to relationship satisfaction, if you tailor your activities in this way, will one observe?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So what we typically see is that for people who have these more insecure attachments, they tend to be less satisfied than people who we think of as secure, right? Who are kind of low in both of these things that I'm talking about. And essentially on the days where they did the activities that best matched their attachment style, their satisfaction was similar to those who were securely attached in most cases. So these are like day-to-day effects. So these aren't huge boosts. We're just talking about like little increases in daily life, but it's sort of bringing you up to the level of what a secure person is feeling when you're matching to your attachment style.
Okay, we got to have a little fun with this one. What activities would you recommend for someone who's avoidant, and what activities would you recommend for someone who's anxious?
Yeah, that's a great idea. That's a great question. And I think a little bit of this depends on what's sort of new to you and what's, more familiar to you. But for the novel and exciting activities, learning something new together is a good one, right? So taking a class together, trying something that maybe neither one of you are, overly familiar with. It can actually be small things too, like just exploring an unfamiliar part of town, going to a new restaurant, those types of things. And then for comfortable and familiar activities, just think about like what are sort of like the fun routines that you have together. So is there a meal that you cook regularly that you like? Is there a TV show or a movie that you get a lot of comfort out of watching? Even, a game or something like that you've played a lot of times that is sort of a comfortable zone for both of you. Those are good options.
Amy, this interview has been great because I've been taking notes and you're helping me, but I also think your study is super helpful and informational and interesting. Now, what if couples don't do that? What if they don't engage in these kinds of activities and their attachment styles aren't aligned, or they aren't doing activities that would sort of give them relationship satisfaction based on their attachment style? What's the downside of not doing these things you're saying?
Yeah, I think the downside is just that you're not taking these opportunities to connect and feel satisfied with your partner. So like I said, both of these types of activities are beneficial overall for relationship satisfaction. So, trying to spend that shared time with your partner is really important. And as kind of an added bonus, you can think about tailoring those activities specifically to what your emotional needs might be.
Amy Muse is a psychology professor at York University, where she's also the director of the Sexual Health and Relationship Lab. Amy, this has been a joy. Thank you so much for sharing your research with me.
Thanks so much for having me.
Monster Energy. Everybody knows White Monster Zero Ultra. That's the OG. It kicked off this whole zero sugar energy drink thing. But Ultra is a whole lineup now. You've got Strawberry Dreams, Blue Hawaiian, Sunrise, and Vice Guava. And they all bring the Monster Energy punch. So if you've been living in the white can, branch out. Ultra's got a flavor for every vibe. And every single one is zero sugar. Tap the banner to learn more.